So JTB Studios has released a new film titled The Tribulations of Morning Wood. It's a pretty weird name, but besides that, I figured I'd watch and review the film since he's doing the same to Console Wars 2. And just before the review starts, I want to talk about the elephant in the room, which is Console Wars 2. There's many reasons why it did take so long to make. Firstly, COVID interfered a lot. With all restrictions and the lockdowns, it became a pain to get people over here to actually film. Secondly, people just couldn't show up, and that sucks, but it's beyond my control, so I can't do anything about it. And thirdly, it was a little too ambitious for me to handle at the time. After Console Wars 1's success or whatever, I wanted to make a sequel because I liked, the project. However, it was a handful to make, and it tested me as a director, and it was a bit too ambitious. I'm in this weird position where I don't know where to go. I've worked on Console Wars 2 for a year and 2 months, I believe, and now that I've finished it, I don't know where to go from here. I feel the best option for me is to continue making these films, because I want to do it, and make at least one short video per week. Just to give some fresh content on the channel and not leave it dead, like I did with Console Wars 2. Right, now that's over, let's get into the review. Alright, let's get into the stuff I liked about this film. I really liked the pacing of this film. It flows very well and entertains the audience. It starts off with the sheriff explaining the recent murders of Morning Wood. It's a pretty good exposition scene that leaves a mystery that engages with the audience. Every scene in this film flows very well. We go from exposition scene to introducing the characters and what they think of the Morning Wood Killer, to eventually the Morning Wood Killer's backstory, and then seeing the Morning Wood Killer kill someone. It flows very well and feels very natural. Another thing I liked in this film are the kills. The kills are pretty good. The production behind it had an actual axe on set that was used by expert actor Declan Youngman with expertise. And also the kills feel very different from each other, which is a good thing to have because, personally, I believe that if every kill kind of feels and looks the same, it gets stale. For example, Troy gets an axe to the abdomen and then finished off with an axe to the back. Someone gets their head crushed, someone drowns, and someone gets their freaking kneecaps ripped out. God damn! Right, that's the good stuff. Now into the criticism. I do not like any of these characters. Well, except one, but I'll get to him soon. These characters are not well written. But I do understand that they are supposed to be stereotypes from the slasher film genre, so I will exclude Troy, Kyle, Samantha, and Stephanie as they are stereotypes. However, I will not excuse Jonathan and the detective. I'll get to the detective in a second because I got a lot of shit to say about him, but let's start with Jonathan. Jonathan is not a good protagonist. Hell, calling him a character is being too generous because he's barely that. He has no likable traits or nothing we as an audience can relate to him. The only thing we ever learn about him is that he was friends with Troy as a kid. This is not a good thing to have because we're supposed to like the audience. However, I feel nothing towards him. This blandness also comes from Jonah's surprisingly flat performance. Majority of his lines delivered barely have any emotion. I'm sorry, Jonah, but I know you can act so much better than that, so I don't really get why your performance is not that good here. Now on to the detective. He is the worst character in this film. He is the stupidest motherfucker that ever existed in the slasher film universe. When he's shown again after Troy's death, he tells the teens to evacuate the place. However, the stupid ass teens rebel. You'd think that he would say, no, get out of here, someone just died. There's a killer on the loose. Because he has the higher authority. However, he's like, oh, okay, my bad. Say, why don't you tell me your stories about Troy? What? And after he listens to everyone's stories about Troy, he just fucks off. What the fuck? But that isn't the dumbest thing he does. No, dear viewer. After getting his kneecap ripped out, he decides to kill himself. What? Okay, look, I know that sounds bad out of context, but just listen to the scenario. Instead of asking help from the teenagers around him, you know, which will not only get him and the teenagers to safety, he just kills himself. Additionally, he also has a family. Does he not give a fuck about the family? Look, I understand that getting your kneecap ripped out is gonna hurt. Look, I haven't been through it, obviously, but like, it's not the end of the world. You know, killing yourself should not be the first option you should take. Prioritizing yourself and trying to get yourself to safety should be the first thing you should do. Jesus Christ. Okay. Now back into the criticism. I don't like how they handle the killer's backstory. Look, I understand that the teenagers burnt down his house, so the lumberjack killed them, but there's no clear motive to why the teenagers would burn down his house. You know, they don't really have a reason to do it. Like, I understand that the lumberjack dude was like, I'll chop off your heads, but realistically, if someone were to tell you that, your first thought would not be, let's burn down this fucker's house. Like, what? Also, can someone explain to me what they're doing in this scene?
Seriously, guys?
Firstly, what the fuck are they even doing? Like, they're hitting sticks with sticks? Okay. Secondly, I don't really get why the lumberjack guy would be pissed off that the kids are hitting sticks with sticks, seeing as he is a fucking lumberjack. There is also a lack of music in some scenes. For example, when the Morning Wood killer is sneaking up on the detective, you'd think that there'd be some ominous music there. But there isn't, and the whole thing just feels awkward, like something is missing. And for people who think that this isn't that big of a point, music is a powerful element that can help elevate a certain emotion. In this sense, it should be fear and or tension. Here, let me fix it for you, Jonah. Alright, now it's time to talk about the legitimate best thing about this film. The sexiest man to ever exist, Ryan, starring as Ben.
I think I'm cute. I know I'm sexy. I've got the looks that drives a girl wild.
I'm not joking when I say that Ryan as Ben is the best part about this film. Not only is he smart and strong as fuck, but he's the most likable character in this film. You know, with his comedic timing, line delivery, and overall looks, he basically carries this film on his back. With that being said, I will now analyze every scene that Ryan is in. When Ryan is first introduced, he is depicted as the nerd. But as it can be seen, that is far from the truth, since Ryan is built like Daddy Goddamn Noel. You know, the simple way he stands resonates energy that not even Morgan Freeman or stupid-ass Jack Nicholson can learn in their lifetime of acting. Not only is he buff as fuck, but he gets the hardest lines and delivers them expertly. Yeah, just look at this for example.
There's no Canis lupus familiaris in this, known as dogs in this bush.
See what I mean? Ryan's next scene is to simply walk up a hill. With no lines, mind you, but he somehow still manages to be the best part about that scene. to the way he looks at the camera, to the way he helps Jonah's character, he somehow manages to be the best part about that scene. The next scene that Ryan steals the spotlight is when Ben and Stephanie are talking about the Morning Wood killer. Stephanie, being the idiot she is, doesn't know what a lumberjack is. So it's up to Ryan to deliver more complex lines, and yet again he proceeds to nail them. However, none of that shit matters in the face of this one line. This one throwaway line that Jonah put into the script for laughs. Ryan sees it and decides, I'm gonna change the world. With this one line, the audience is rendered speechless by his performance. With this one line, Ryan has already solidified himself as one of the greatest actors to ever exist.
Sacre bleu!
Needless to say, I was in awe. It was that phenomenal of a line delivery that it made me rethink my entire life. Ryan single-handedly took down French stereotypes. Seeing as he is not French himself, it's almost metaphorical in the way he says that line. Truly, only Ryan has that acting capability to deliver such a line that stupid-ass Jack Nicholson can't do in his lifetime. Suck it, nerd! After that phenomenal scene, the gang is all back together and talking about what happened to the killer. Initially, Ryan was going to be doing the voiceover. However, Jonah had to step in and deliver a monotone performance, which isn't a bad thing, because the audience is already overwhelmed by Ryan's performance, and it needs something, So after that exposition scene, blah, 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 Troy's dead and now it's the morning. Stephanie discovers Troy's dead corpse and, they all observe his fine ass. Ben, being not even fazed by this since he's a literal god, decides to do the only rational thing and call the cops. Yet again, showing his intellect. So now the stupid-ass sheriff is checking the teenagers' alibis, blah, 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 whatever. However, Ben explains to the sheriff how he would so easily be able to kill someone, seeing as he not only has the physique, but also the brain power to do so. He solidifies himself as one of the most dangerous characters in the slasher film universe. So after the stupid-ass sheriff dies and the teenagers gather around his body, Ben is once again not fazed by this. Now I know what you're thinking, that this is bad acting on Ryan's half. But if you think this, maybe, just maybe, you have the mindset of a Genshin Impact player, because you're one stupid motherfucker. Ryan deliberately chose not to be fazed by this. Since he has such a deep understanding with the character of Ben, he knows that he would not be fazed by this for the fact that he is too smart. Think of him as like Yagami. He's intelligent. A little too intelligent. I'll get back to that in a second. Fuck it. Anyways, irrelevant characters like Stephanie, Kyle, and Marvel Girl are killed off, and the last character alive is Ben. And Jonathan's there. Ben sees that a body has been dragged through a pathway, and decides to follow it. There, he meets the Morning Wood killer, and they have a fight, face to face. And Jonathan's there. Conveniently, the axe is just there, which is confusing to me because why the fuck would the killer leave his axe there? It doesn't make much sense when you think about it. And while I'm here, I want to explain my pet peeve when it comes to horror films. It's when the killer has the perfect opportunity to kill the protagonist, but just doesn't. Like this, for example. Or this. Yeah, explain that, Jonah. Fuck him. We're not here to talk about a character who isn't a character. We're here to analyze Ryan. When Ryan first attacks the Morning Wood, fuck that name. Okay, that name fucking sucks. Alright, I'm gonna call him the murderous lumberjack. You know, it's cliche, but that's this film for you. Ben runs up to the murderous lumberjack and proceeds to throw multiple punches. Now, it has to be taken into account that Ryan does indeed have to hold back in order not to break Declan's ribcage. For some reason, Ben's punches do nothing to the murderous lumberjack. Even though he's built like Goku, the murderous lumberjack just fucking throws him away. In a shocking turn of events, Ben tries to save Jonathan, but gets choked by the murderous lumberjack, and proceeds to get drowned. And now, beforehand, Jonah said to Ryan that he doesn't have to go into the water. But we all know that Ryan is one of the greatest actors in this world. So of course he's gonna go 110% in. Now take it from the man who was filming that scene. I was completely shocked by Ryan's capability to actually dunk his head in water, putting himself in harm's way of disease and physical pain in order to get 5 seconds of him drowning. Wow. Watching that, I nearly cried. I was convinced that Ryan had actually died on set. Then the film goes on, and it seems like everyone has died, except fucking Jonathan. But there's a post-credits scene. And by God, it's a miracle! Ben is alive! Woo! I was ecstatic to see the best character in this film still alive. But something didn't feel right. Something felt like it was missing. So I went back and looked at all the footage, and I found something. Something big. You're probably wondering, if he's such a good actor, why would he look into the camera? But then it clicked. When else has he looked into the camera? Then it hit me. Ben knows he's in a film. Think about it. Ryan has connected with his character of Ben so much that he knows he's intelligent. So smart at that Ryan knows, that Ben knows, that he is in a slasher film. Why does he lose to the murderous lumberjack, you might be asking? Isn't it obvious? Since Ben knows he's in a slasher film, he knows that he has to lose to be in the fucking sequel. It all makes sense. It all makes sense. And that is why Ryan is the best part in this film. In conclusion, The Tribulations of Morning Wood, it's an alright film for a first-time director Jonah. I definitely think he can improve on his work, and I cannot wait to see his future films. Yeah, that's it. For now, I will give it a 2 out of 5. And that's basically it. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe to me and not Jonah, because Jonah is 3 feet tall, and I actually write my scripts. Alright, see you later.